Russia is responsible for the destruction of the Kakhovka power plant and shall be punished for it. Ukraine should be a part of NATO and the European Union. That is the general line of the joint debate in the European Parliament devoted to the situation in Ukraine.
The destruction of the Kakhovka hydroelectric power plant on June 6th would not have happened if Russia had not started its illegal war of aggression against Ukraine. Dealing with the consequences of this despicable act and relieving the damage caused will be a part of our effort towards recovery and reconstruction of Ukraine.
The European Union will continue to support Ukraine despite all Russian threats and pressure.
The initial objectives of 15,000 soldiers trained is already reached, and we are well on track to train the new objectives of 30,000 soldiers. We, as the EU, have a clear responsibility to ensure that Ukraine will become a successful EU member state. This responsibility calls for a continuous mobilization. Today, while Russia continues waging war and committing war crimes, tomorrow, for the reconstruction and recovery of Ukraine.
We have expressed our support to Ukrainian people whose lives are at risk as a result of this senseless attack, which represents a new dimension of Russian atrocities. The EIB has also set up the EU for Ukraine initiative to finance its recovery and reconstruction. The Commission and the EIB are finalizing agreement today to enable the EIB to provide 100 million euros of new loans to Ukraine with support of the EU guarantee.
The European Union encourages the aggressive policy of Putin's Russia for decades, and that is why it is responsible for the situation in Ukraine.
The war was started not only because Putin is a criminal aggressor, but also because of our great strategic geopolitical mistakes in the past. The biggest mistake was to leave Ukraine for long decades in the grey zone, without clear membership perspective in NATO or European Union. That created temptation for Putin to imagine that both NATO and EU are weak and are afraid of him, and that he can grab territories of Ukraine, but the West will continue its dialogue with Putin. Ukraine should get an invitation to join NATO during the Vilnius summit and should become a member after the war. And Ukraine needs to start EU accession negotiations at the end of this year.
Such a position was represented just by several deputies, while the vast majority shared the position of Polish MP Sikorski. There is no place for negotiation with Putin.
Would you really want to entrust the security of your country to the signature of a man who has ordered this outrage? No, ladies and gentlemen, the real negotiation is being done by the brave soldiers of the Ukrainian army. God bless them. I hope they negotiate all the way to the international boundaries of the Ukraine state. Slava Ukraini!
Vitaly Sizov, Ruslan Kuzgov from Brussels for your TV channel.